Well, good morning, everybody. It is so good to be here. It is April 22nd, Friday morning. As you see, our friend Michael is not with us today. He's traveling again. So it's just me on the show today, but so excited to be here. Just a couple things to get started, and then we're going to jump right in with our guest. The reason Michael and I do this show every week, Experience Friday Live, is to talk about why experience really matters. And I was really honored this week to be in Atlanta, Georgia for the CX Forum and able to speak and meet some incredible people on stage. And we're going to actually hear from them in the next few weeks in the month of May. A bunch of them are going to be joining us for the show. And it just made it so much more important to know that experience matters. And we're talking digital experience, customer experience, employee experience, all of that in this experience ecosystem that we talk about. I also want to remind you, send your questions in through the chat. We'll be watching those chat questions. I see a bunch of you sharing with us already this morning where you're listening in from, but send those questions in and we will try to get to those as soon as possible. And just a quick announcement. We will not have a show next week, Friday, April 29th. For those of you that follow me on LinkedIn, you've been following my journey. A week ago today, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. And a week from today, on Friday, April 29th, I will be in surgery. So we are canceling the show for that, but we will be back on Friday, May the 6th, with an amazing guest, Zach Hamilton. And you'll see more about that. But let's get with today. I am so happy and so honored to have Michael Baum with us. Michael has more than 20 years of experience designing, developing, and managing successful retention initiatives, customer retention initiatives. For the past 14 years, he has worked on assessing, improving, and innovating customer experience for B2C and more recently for B2B companies. His work has resulted in double-digit increases in incremental revenue and decreases in churn. He is proud that his clients either ask him back for repeat engagements, which we all love, and or refer to him to others at the rate of over 90%. Michael also has written the curriculum for and taught courses on CRM and CX to both undergraduate and MBA students at the University of St. Thomas, St. Catherine University, both of those in Minneapolis. He is also on faculty at AB Tech Community College in Asheville, North Carolina, and Montreat College in Montreat, North Carolina. And he is currently an advisor to the CX certification program at California State University. So without further ado, let's welcome Michael to the stage with us. Hey, Michael, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Well, it is so good to have you here with me, buddy, and on the show. Want to just dive in and do some incredible things today with you. Michael, we start off every show with this question of our guests, and it is simply, why do you do what you do, and what keeps you motivated as you do it?
Yeah, great question, and thanks for having me this morning. So I love what I do, what we do. What I love about it is we see the results of what we do so quickly. We don't have to wait a long time to see that when we make things easier for customers, when we improve experiences, when we take the friction out, we see an immediate response from customers. And I love that. I'm kind of a response junkie. I'm not very patient. So when I do something, I want to see the result. And so I love this work that we do. Plus, I love that it's the marriage of science and art, and that we are impacting both the practical side of a commercial relationship and the emotional side of a commercial relationship. And so all those things are give me the joy to do what we do every day.
Well, awesome, Michael. And it really is just uh, just incredible to have you here. And we always start with this stoke that we do on the show. And I want to read this. It says customer input is an important data point and should carry appropriate weight, but it's not the only data point. The business and its objectives and culture also get a vote. Now, that is something you put out there in the world on LinkedIn. So I would love for you to just tell me what you were thinking there, and then we're going to dive into, what is the difference between B2B and B2C CX?
Sure. Yeah, so this has been an important learning for me over the course of the last few years, particularly in the work that I do today with Accenture. As we engage with clients, it's important, clearly, to understand the sentiment and the signal from customers around the quality of the experience and where there's friction and what's working and what's not, as well as employees. Um, the same for employees. But we can't go chasing, practically speaking, can't go chasing after just solving what customers want. The business gets the opportunity to put in their side of what they want into that equation. So, as an example, uh, we I've done work with clients where the signal says from customers is that they want it easier, and and that means for them that they want the entire journey to be a DIY journey. They don't want any human interaction. But the business has certain interests in having an engagement with customers at certain points. So the work that we then do is marry that need for the business to engage, and the business wants to engage with customers at certain points in the journey because they want the opportunity, first of all, to form a relationship, and second of all, the opportunity to increase their business with customers. And so the trick then, the secret sauce is to marry the interests of the business with the interests of the customer, and the preferences of the customer. And so for me, it's my mantra to tell the business that it's critical that you go out and get the voice of customer, the insights from voice of customer. But it's equally important that then, as we translate those insights into the way that we're going to form the experience, that we also take into account what can you do? What is your culture, the culture of the company, used to doing? In technology, a lot of technology companies that are out there today, particularly in infrastructure technology, started because they had some great innovation in engineering. And so it was sort of a, if we build it, they will come. And that's how these companies 20 years ago, 30 years ago, were built. Today, as we work with them to pivot to be more customer centric, we have to bear in mind that we can't flip the company's experience totally based on customers wanting, in this example, a completely DIY experience, when the company's not set up for that, when the culture of the company doesn't reward that today. And so we then have to fashion, what can we do within the confines of the culture, the needs of the business, and of course, being led by what customer preferences are.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Makes total sense. I love it. Love what you're talking about there.
I lost you.
Yes, love it. It's good. It's great stuff there for sure. And I love what you're saying. So can you tell me then? So can you tell me then, Michael, like, what is the difference from B2B and B2C CX? What's the difference from B2B to B2C CX? Can you tell the listeners?
Yeah, so this is my opinion. Open to dialogue around this, but today there isn't much difference. And in fact, and I think all of us can agree that B2B customers shape their expectations a lot from their B2C, their own personal B2C relationships, the relationships that they have with Amazon, with Uber, with Uber Eats, with any number of those companies. The same things that impact us and our expectations when we do business to go shopping for ourselves, customers bring in their expectations when they go shopping and need to purchase something or need to interact with a business to business provider. The difference is that a business to business customer generally, this is a generalization, and in the majority, is much more prepared because their job is on the line. If I'm an IT manager or a business unit manager and I need to procure tools for my business unit, I'm going to be judged by my management, my salary, my promotion, my very job is based on my performance. So in general, I'm going to be pretty prepared, very prepared, informed, have done my homework when I engage with potential vendors. So as a result, while my expectations are the same, if I do business with a technology company or a retail company as a business customer, I'm expecting I'm going to have the same transparency that I would if I was shopping with Amazon or ordering an Uber. But I am going to be more prepared around what it is I want, what I'm looking for, and my expectations of what you're going to deliver to me that I'm going to be able to share back with my company that are going to make me look good are higher than when I'm just going out and buying a new shirt for myself. Does that make sense?
Makes total sense, man, and I love it. And I've never really thought about it that way, and thought about like what is it that makes that big difference. So let's go a step further then, Michael, because we talked about what is the difference between B2B and B2C CX. How then do tech firms, B2B, because you do a lot of work with tech firms, manage their CX differently than anyone else, or is it the same?
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. It is a little bit different today, and we do a lot of work with tech firms to help them be more mature in the management of their CX. A lot of them look at customer experience as being the practice of customer success. How do I engage with my customers and ensure that they are adopting what they purchased from me to its fullest and getting the maximum value, so that when it comes time to renew or to purchase more, they're predisposed towards that. And oftentimes, coming from that orientation, they've sort of neglected the experience of the journey through the discover, try, purchase, and initiate stages. And so the work that we do is to help them sort of pay as much attention to those stages in the journey as they do to the adopt and consume stages of the journey. So that's the basic difference in my view today. Whereas a more D2C and other business to business that are more product focused have already sort of come to that maturity, have reached that level of maturity where they're looking across the greater journey.
Again, Michael, I love the philosophy that we're trying to put out here, because I do think, as a matter of fact, I was at this conference this week, and I think we in CX think it's a one size fits all, no matter what business it is. First off, I'm been pretty controversial this week. I think we need to do away with the word CX. I think we just need to talk about experience in general. And we at Mofi, we talk about that experience ecosystem, and what that experience ecosystem, and for those of you that have watched the show or have heard me speak, know how my philosophy is. I got the mousetrap behind me over here. Spent 7 years working for Disney, and Disney doesn't look at it that way. Look at them as separate things. It's this ecosystem of experience. And depending on what line of business, whether we were in resorts or whether you're riding a ride, same with tech firms or some financial services, we've got to keep looking at it as a check the box thing and looking at the experience, especially in the world we're living in. Right?
Yeah, I can tell you a quick story, Shawn, to kind of underscore that point. When I started at VMware a number of years ago, I was brought in to lead experience transformation, and when I engaged, it was a new position, so kind of a new view within the company. And as I engaged with stakeholders, the leaders around the company, and started talking to them about customer experience, some of them would say to me, I actually don't I don't deal with customers, I deal with partners. I think what you're doing is great, but you and I won't have much to do with each other. And so as I went along, I had to kind of educate people, and as well as change my vernacular to always refer to it as customer, partner, and employee experience. And so I'm totally down with what you're putting out here about let's do away with the customer, with the partner, with the employee. Let's just call it experience.
Yeah. And so, a matter of fact, I saw that someone actually quoted me from my talk this week, and I forgot that I said it, but I simply just said this, and I said, if you get the human experience right, you will get the numbers you need to meet.
Yes.
Right? If you get it right, you'll get the numbers.
Absolutely.
And I love that attitude about you, Michael. When you and I not met in person, but through LinkedIn, and we watch what each other post, and I see that. Let me ask you this question, because I think this is interesting. We talk about trends a lot. I was really fortunate to have Daniel Burris on our podcast, The Combustion Chronicles, and he's like, people talk about trends, but don't do anything with them, right? And I think you and I are both doers. I really want to know, what are the trends in B2B tech that you think that are going to impact DX going forward?
Yeah, I think, I sort of alluded to one, which is that I think that slowly there are companies out there that are beginning to adopt an approach to experience management that transcends the journey, not just focuses on the end of the journey, the post-sales cycle, but it includes the whole thing from start to finish. I also think that I'm seeing a lot of movement towards the use of what I call human and intelligent AI to help manage experiences. And what I mean by that is all of us have had the experience of engaging with a company and choosing to the chat option and having a bot pop up and say, hi, what can I help you with today? And, putting in, I'm so mad at you guys because you totally effed up my order. Oh, so you're pick the one that's right. You want to place a new order. You want to cancel an order. And it's just this sort of chatbot hell. More and more companies are realizing that that's a dissatisfier, and that actually inserts more friction than it takes out. And so they're being much more considered about the way that they use AI, as not as much around customer support, but around proactive advising of customers in their journey with the product. So as an example, we worked with a company that is beginning to set up, or has set up AI, so that from the point of purchase, within the product itself, these bots will pop up and ask questions around the utility and the ease of use of the product, and give the user, the owner of the product now, the adopter of the product, an opportunity to either engage with somebody at the company to get some support or to give feedback around what their experience with the onboarding of the product has been thus far. That's a much better use of AI to help promote an experience. It's really being more proactive. And I think that's another trend, is that for more mature companies, mature in their CX management, in their X management, I'm going to adopt your idea, Shawn, that they're realizing that the real keys to the kingdom are getting out in front and being more proactive around helping customers and employees anticipate where there may be friction and seek to eliminate that before the individual actually experiences it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense. And here's the thing that, and I'd love to, we'll leave this as the last part that we talk about today. We, in the world of experience, and particularly CX, there's a lot of experience management softwares out there. There's a couple really big companies that we can all talk about and we all know about. And we do a ton of work. I've done a ton of work in healthcare. And what I'm starting to find out in the world of experience, Michael, is we have a ton of data, but we do nothing with the data.
Yes.
It's like a prime example, and I saw this, a very good friend of mine who will be on the show May 6th, Zach Hamilton, posted this week on LinkedIn. He said, he was at a retailer that put in all of his information. They had all this information around the subscription. And he's like, I called them again and had to give them the same information. Why is it we're collecting that data? And we know, we all have the template. And this is to the tech person. That's why I'm asking you, why is it we have all this data and you call back in, is it not recognizing, I already have it? So, Shawn, you have this subscription. Thank you for being loyal to this. Prime example, we do Broadway in Cincinnati. Here in Cincinnati, my wife and I. Our subscription for next year came up. Now, we've had them for 3 years. This is our 4th year. Guess what? I had to put all the same information back in again. And had to go fix seats again. Tell me why.
Yeah, I don't know the why, other than nothing I care to say on the podcast. But it is a conundrum that in this day and age, with as much conversation around experience as there is, that those situations are not uncommon. And I think, in fairness, to some of the companies, a lot of it I know from my experience working with companies on these kinds of issues is that the data has been stored in places that were set up as silos as the data started coming in when they started capturing that data. And it is a huge effort to centralize all that data so that you can use tools to then mine that data and use it, turn it into insights and turn it into usefulness. It's really, and unfortunately, companies haven't sort of figured out what the return on the investment is. And so that's on us, I think, as practitioners, to help them understand that, it may take a serious investment to get all your data into one central place and then invest in some really good tools that are going to help you mine that data and pull out the insights and utilize that data. But the monetization of that, the return on that investment is really worth the investment and the effort. And that's why we have a certain amount of job security, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, Michael. I want to thank you for being here.
Thank
Great
you.
knowledge. If you'll hang out, I'm going to do a closing, and then I'll come back and get you, Michael. So just hang out for a little bit here with us.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, to everybody else, thank you guys. I know we've had some sound issues today. Sorry, we were trying to work through that and get through that. But really thankful that Michael was here with us today. What a great, what a great perspective. I've not even thought about that from the tech industry standpoint. But thank you guys so much for being here. Again, remember, there's a couple key things that we love to talk about here at Experience Friday Live. And if you play in this experience ecosystem, we want you. We want you to be on the show. You can either reach out to us at hello@mofi.co. Or you can go send through our email at mofi.co or at shawnnason.com. And then we would love, with our guest, Michael Baum, myself, and Michael Harper, connect with us on LinkedIn, keep up with us, keep up with the show. We've got some amazing guests coming up in May. And as I said again, next week we will not be here. I've seen so many comments saying going to send prayers and thoughts. I appreciate that. My plan is to be here on the show May 6th. I may be a little tired, but we'll be here and appreciate this whole community who has stood behind us. And we will see you again on Friday, May the 6th. So thank you all and have a great weekend.